Straight ahead on 12 News, a swimming pool tragedy in Plymouth and the family that's trying to come to grips with a sudden loss. Then, the crucial voice in an emergency. Meet the volunteers who help break down language barriers. But first, the sound that just won't stop. How all this rain could sink us into record territory. 12 News starts right now. It is the weather year that's truly one for the ages. Hello, I'm Alexandra Renslow.
And I'm Mike Johnson. From the cold to the snow and now the rain. From Saturday night through Monday afternoon, we've had more than 3.5 inches of rain. That's on top of an already rainy April, making this the second wettest April on record here in the Northwest Metro. And with more rain in the forecast, it's possible we could break the record set in 2001. MnDOT says it has the money to ease traffic congestion on a section of Interstate 494. It's a project Plymouth has been working on for 15 years. MnDOT will build a third general purpose lane from Highway 55 to Interstate 94 with money it saved on 2 major bridge projects. One city council member says it's exciting news that the bottleneck there will finally be fixed. And the mayor says it will help hundreds of new workers moving to Plymouth actually get to their jobs. A former refugee had been in the United States just 6 weeks before a tragic accident took his life on Friday night.
A 16-year-old Benedict Richardson drowned while swimming with his sister at a Plymouth apartment pool. Reporter Cassie Bonstrom spoke with Benedict's father, who said his son was a bright, determined young man who was ready for a fresh start in America.
He was a good kid.
Emmett Richardson is holding tightly to pictures of his beloved son.
He was sociable. He was friendly. He was a family person.
Still in shock that after years of trying to get Benedict to America, his life ended so quickly.
Young man coming to the United States to live a dream, to learn to the highest. Just, I don't know, but he was a great kid.
Benedict, who knew how to swim, was with his 8-year-old sister at an indoor pool when he went underwater. Emmett was nearby but didn't see his son until it was too late. He did CPR until help arrived.
I try, and they try their best, but it didn't work.
Benedict was a Liberian native who had just moved to the U.S. from Guinea, Africa, where he'd spent years as a refugee. Now he was enrolled at Wayzata High School.
He was so happy that he's going to start going to school here.
And had big dreams for the future.
He wanted to be a social worker to see how he can help people.
All of those dreams are now gone for Benedict and for Emmett, who waited so long to watch his son thrive in the U.S. Instead, Emmett's relying on his faith to move forward.
We stay strong, we still believe in God. That we that are still on earth, we should have that hope that one day we might meet him again.
Emmett was meeting today to make funeral arrangements for his son. Benedict's funeral will be held sometime at St. Barnabas Lutheran Church in Plymouth. And Mike and Alex, the Hennepin County Medical Examiner has ruled this accident an accidental drowning.
Very sad.
Yes. Thanks,
Tragic,
Cassie.
very tragic.
A Golden Valley mother's fight to improve safety at public swimming beaches is now headed to the governor's desk. Tony's bill would require all lifeguards on duty at public beaches to have CPR training. The bill is in honor of Tony Kane, a 6-year-old boy who drowned at Worth Beach 2 summers ago. Lifeguards there did have CPR training. The law would take effect in 2015.
The State Patrol has identified the man who died Sunday afternoon in a car crash in Maple Grove. 33-year-old Andrew Howe of Edina was killed along eastbound Interstate 94 near Maple Grove Parkway. The State Patrol says he swerved off the road into the ditch and struck a utility building. The road conditions were wet at the time. Brooklyn Park emergency responders will soon get some help when it comes to communicating with immigrant residents.
The city is currently recruiting for its Cultural Services Unit. Reporter Sonia Goen shows us why the program is needed and how it works.
Welcome back to the Radio Gospel right here on the Gospel Safari Network. Pastor Christian Vincent is known for his ministry on the radio.
Once again, hope you are ready for this gospel ride.
But when he's not on the air or behind the pulpit, he helps emergency responders in Brooklyn Center to communicate with native Liberians.
First of all, there are a very big culture difference.
Last year, Pastor Vincent was trained to be part of a cultural services unit.
Perfect. 5.
The group not only breaks down language barriers, but cultural ones too.
Sometimes they might not know how to receive the communication for the police. We are not a law enforcement officer, or we are not a medical reserve, but we are just there to enhance their work.
If there was an emergency like the 35W bridge collapse, the Cultural Services Unit would hit the ground running.
We work on side and side with the police, the law enforcement officer, to make sure we communicate properly.
The whole idea is to respect cultural differences while providing emergency services in the community. Brooklyn Park will soon get its very own Cultural Services Unit. With a population that's 51% non-white, officials say it's badly needed.
There's a significant number of community members who may not fully understand how to get access to emergency services.
Volunteers will get a 6-week training course on basic safety skills. They'll also learn about resources available to immigrant communities.
It could be temporary housing, it could be health and human services, it could be pastoral care.
A group called ECHO started the program.
ECHO believes that these communities need to have a voice in the communities in which they live and work.
Volunteers don't have to be big or strong. They just need to be willing to help out in an emergency.
We're looking for people who would have a heart just to assist their community members in the time of a large-scale emergency.
Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Hennepin County public health officials funded the program. Brooklyn Park is still looking for more volunteers. If you'd like to get involved, you can call 612-588-2572.
Well, it's spring finally here. That also means that Minnesota's road construction season is underway, but it can be a dangerous job for crews charged with doing that work alongside of traffic. This afternoon in Brooklyn Park, Governor Dayton and transportation officials from across the state gathered at Egan Company to honor 2 employees who died while working on a MnDOT construction project in 2011. Egan Company officials say that as construction season begins, they urge people to keep safety in mind when driving on Minnesota's highways.
People assume that they have their routine route under control, and when they're going through a work zone, what they're not aware of is how close they are in the vicinity of workers that are trying to do their job, and the workers are not always able to get out of the way in time in the event something would go wrong.
Since 1960, 34 MnDOT employees and 15 private sector contractors have died while working on Minnesota's highways.
A former longtime Golden Valley City Council member has died. Gloria Johnson served on the Golden Valley City Council for 28 years before stepping down in 2003. Her tenure on the council was the longest in city history. Funeral services will be held Friday at Calvary Lutheran Church. Johnson was 87 years old. Coming up, how weather around the globe could impact everybody's caffeine fix. That's next in Business Matters.
Then later in sports, a couple of girls basketball standouts from Brooklyn Park go head-to-head in all-star competition.
But first, not good news if you're trying to dry out the basement. More rain expected Tuesday and Wednesday.
A deal announced today between Comcast and Charter Cable will change the company managing cable television in Minnesota, including the system you're watching now. Minnesota Comcast subscribers will become part of a new spin-off company. That company will be managed by Charter Communications. Comcast must reduce the number of cable subscribers to help clear the way for its mega merger with Time Warner. Comcast and Time Warner are the first and second largest cable providers in the U.S., and final approval is expected next year. Well, that morning cup of joe could start to cost you a few cents more.
A severe drought in Brazil is to blame for the creeping cost of coffee beans, and that scoops into the bottom line, especially for small independent coffee shops that have to get creative to stay alive.
There you go.
Coffee is a family business at Mountain Mud in New Hope.
Everybody's involved, my son-in-law, my daughter, all my kids.
family behind the counter,
Yes, I am a regular.
and a family
Ever since it opened, I've been coming here, yeah.
of regular customers.
Probably about 3 times a week.
We look at this business as like Cheers, a place you call home. Thank you.
Mary Ellen Everhart owns this 7-year-old small business, and since January, she's had to swallow the 15% rise in the cost of coffee beans.
Our customers are loyal. They do not deserve to have a price increase, and that's our goal, is to keep the bottom line.
That doesn't mean their bottom line isn't affected.
Yeah, we're taking a little bit of a hit, kind of a little bit of a big hit sometimes, yeah?
She can smile through the pain and take a hit because coffee isn't the only king here.
Food is very good.
They serve up a small menu of homemade food, serve wine and beer, and offer customers a little of their creative thinking with live music and a monthly appearance from an Elvis impersonator.
Yeah, we have our Elvis get-togethers.
What we had to do from the get-go is get creative right out of the hoops. And we took this thing and we ran right from the beginning with it. And we've been growing since.
Still, Mary Ellen admits to some nervousness, especially if the price of beans continues its climb. They recently cut back on cups to cut costs, opting for plain white ones versus a more expensive version with a logo. And she's hoping she doesn't have to raise prices on the family of customers
You like to come where your friends are and give them the business, yeah.
who've helped keep this family business in business.
I've got to look at my big picture.
The cost of coffee started to spike in January, and it's now at its highest level in 2 years. Coming up, Osseo area schools celebrate Native American culture.
But first in sports, the area's best track and field athletes go for titles at the Hamline Elite Meet. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back. Well, John Jacobson with sports, and we start with the best in high school girls basketball, some of the best players from around the state.
Yeah, some great players from around the state and a couple right from the northwest suburbs here. The state high school girls basketball tournament wrapped up about 5 weeks ago with Park Center winning a triple overtime thriller to take the Class 3A title. The Pirates' top star joined the top players from the class of 2014 at the Minnesota All-Star Games. Kayla McMorris suiting up for the dark jersey team in Game 1, while Champlin Park's Lexi Alexander played for the white team. And Alexander gets it to candidates Kenesha Bell, the Monica Vega of Ada Borup for the layup in the early going. McMorris has a great first half. She blows by the defender, gets all the way to the hoop for the layup as the dark team takes over. Alexander shows her skills with a shot fake and driving layup here, and the white jersey team ahead. McMorris, though, will pop a three-pointer from the left side, part of an efficient opening half for Kayla. And McMorris will cut around the screen. Claire Lundberg of Anoka feeds her for the layup. And our team leads by 8 at halftime. Former Osseo High School assistant and Park Center head coach Tim Tees, one of 4 Coaches Association Hall of Fame inductees, honored at halftime. Congratulations to him. Second half play, Jordan's Madison Dean scores in the layup. Great move off the spin by McMorris. She scores 2 more. She nets 13 in the game, and her team up by 14 points. Alexander with a runner off the glass. The white squad making a mini rally, but it's not enough. The dark team wins it 79-66.
It was a great experience, getting to be one of the best in the state and playing against a lot of good players. It was just a great feeling and a lot of fun.
It was an honor, and it was fun to play out here with all the best girls in Minnesota, so I had a good time, I had fun.
The Tri-State Boys Golf Invitational this year featured just teams from Minnesota. 24 teams teed it up over the weekend at Edinburgh, USA and Brooklyn Park. Jack Holmgren and the Wayzata Trojans holding a 1-stroke lead after day 1 of the tourney. Providence Academy was one of the other local schools in the field. Paul Stanky taps in a short birdie putt on 15 on its way to a round of 78 Saturday. After a great tee shot, Matt Rastetter of Providence taps in for birdie on 16. He shoots his team's low score, 158 over 2 days. Paul Vogt of Hopkins shot rounds of 79 and 77 to lead the Royals. Hopkins places 14th overall. Ben Frazzini finished 3rd on Wayzata's team. He came in with a 36-hole score of 157. Van Holmgren teeing off on number 1 for Wayzata. He shot rounds of 77 and 78. That tied him with his brother Jack, who just misses a birdie try on Edinburgh's second hole, 78 and 77 for Jack Holmgren on the weekend. As we look at the final team scores, Wayzata wins the Tri-State by 3 shots. Lakeville North finishes second with Edina third. Among the other area teams, Benilde St. Margaret's comes in 10th, Hopkins 14th, Providence 17th, and Rogers 24th. The Hamline Elite Track and Field Meet brings top-level competitors, regardless of class, together in one meet. Highlights from a good night of track and field. Boys 400-meter dash. Wayzata's Michael Smith turning it on down the home stretch. He sets a new meet record with a time of 48.18 seconds. In the girls 400, Wayzata sophomore Ruby Stauber runs well, and she takes third place. Boys shot put, Totino Grace's Kai Barber. With the throw here, he takes third place overall in the meet. Back to the track, boys 4x400 relay. Smith impressive again, running a very strong anchor leg and carrying the Trojans to victory. Wayzata boys also won the 4x100 relay, and Anna French of Wayzata won the girls 1600. And in lacrosse, the Maple Grove boys started the season with 3 close losses. The Crimson did look to get into the win column Saturday, hosted Minnetonka in lacrosse action at Maple Grove. Matthew Leonard on the run from Maple Grove here. Gets it to Jesse Bollinger to Matt Savanich for the goal. And it's a 1-0 Crimson lead in the first quarter. After the Skippers tied up, they'll go ahead as Jack Ariola feeds John Burkhardt for the goal. 2-1 Minnetonka in the second quarter. Maple Grove answers with some determined work by Jake Wilson. Spins and keeps the pressure on before firing a low shot in for a goal. And that makes it 2-2 at halftime. Third quarter, Reese Poppy to Savanich to Jonathan First, who scores as he's knocked down on this play, and it's 3-2 Crimson. Bollinger gives them a 2-goal lead in the fourth quarter, and Maple Grove holds on for a 5-4 win, their first of the season. That's a look at sports for today.
All right, thanks, John. We'll be right back.
About 1,400 students in the Osseo Area School District will celebrate their high school graduation on June 7th.
That group includes all 14 of the district's Native American students, and that makes 9 consecutive years that 100% of the district's Native American students will receive their diplomas. Statewide, the graduation rate for Native American students is 39%.
Some of them don't have programs like we do, where it's in school and after school.
Krista Necklace of Park Center High School is one of the 14 Native American students who will receive her diploma in June. Saturday, Necklace and about 2,000 others packed into Osseo Junior High School to celebrate the district's 19th annual American Indian Education Day and Wachipi. Osseo district officials attribute the successful graduation rates to events such as this, where Native American students get to learn about their cultural identity.
So at Osseo, our children are surrounded by community, parents, elders, that intergenerational teaching, and it's continuous, it's weekends.
Graduation for all students in the Osseo Area School District takes place on June 7th on the University of Minnesota campus at Mariucci Arena. And that does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Stay with us. Community Corner coming up next, and we'll see you again here tomorrow beginning at 4.